I grew up in a very, very secular family, and I grew up in southeast London, famous for David Bowie and Peter Frampton and Billy Idol. I didn't really have a sense of being Jewish. I didn't think we were any different to anybody else until I was at what would be called junior high in America, I guess. There was another kid in my class who was much more traditional than me, and I heard another kid in our school, in our class, say to me that he wasn't allowed to play or hang out with this other kid because he was Jewish, and his father told him not to. And that really shook me up. When I was 7 years old, they were offering free music lessons at school. And I got a drum kit, and I started playing in different bands. When you're a musician as a kid, it's like a gateway to get into all the parties and all the bars when you really shouldn't be there. And at 17 years old, I decided to really take music seriously and follow it full time. Sure enough, I started working for a small publishing company in London, working in studios, working my way up from firstly just making cups of tea. But I started creating my own type of music, which was blending soul music with electronic music. I was playing live almost every single night, and before too long, the recording industry in the UK started to notice me. Eventually there was some sort of bidding war between Parlophone and Island Records, which is where I ended up signing and becoming an Island Records artist, famous for signing U2 and Bob Marley and like various other big musicians. You know, the real moment of sense of achievement was when I played a Lollapalooza in Chicago. That feeling of seeing 30 to 100,000 people singing every word to every song back marks a real sense of achievement. It's the dream. The society I grew up in is one where the focus is on materiality, physicality. But I realized that there had to be more to life than just chasing after shows and money and success. There had to be more emotional and spiritual fulfillment somewhere. So as my career was really sort of taking off, I was thinking about Judaism a lot more. That became, for me, the focus. Thank God, at a very early stage, not to be focused on materialism, to have a connection beyond the physical, to have a spiritual or ruchnistic relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So as I was becoming frum, at the same time, my music career was also going off on the same trajectory. When I first signed my record deal, I told them that I was Shomer Shabbos. So they were very aware that there was something different about Fridays, but they didn't quite get how serious it is. For some reason, every piece of promo that came in over that course of the summer was for Friday nights. And I was just turning down promo event after promo event after promo event. And they were getting very frustrated. And then Motzei Yom Kippur, I had a big phone call from my A&R man saying, "You've got an amazing opportunity." And I asked him what it was, and it was for a live performance on the BBC. And the best thing is, it's not on a Friday, it's on a Thursday. And I said to them, "Thursday, that's fantastic. Which Thursday?" And they said, "Next Thursday." So I counted in my head, and I realized Thursday, oh, it's Sukkot, Sukkos. So I said to my A&R man, "You know that's Sukkot, right?" And they said, "Yeah, we know. But you have a choice to make. We can either support you in your career, or we can drop you." When you sign a record deal, they give you a ton of money. They handle your studio time. They handle logistics behind, doing live shows. At this point, from that huge sum of money they'd given me to make an album, I now had very little left, being that making an album is extremely expensive. When I got dropped, they left me in a situation where their debt to my musicians, which they were willing to pay and hadn't paid yet, was to the tune of £11,000. And being that I just got dropped, they no longer legally had an obligation to pay that. So that was pretty terrible. Yeah, pretty rough. So I decided to do what every good Jewish boy should do in this situation and go to yeshiva. Literally a couple of days later, the divorce proceedings of my record label and I were finalized, and I was finally dropped, properly. I was meeting with a friend of mine, having a coffee one morning, talking about my woes and my worries and not really knowing what to do. And I got a phone call from an organizer of a design fair in Germany. huge international conference of designers and architects and people in that industry, and they have a party, and they usually have like a big pop act come and play it. Now, unfortunately for the young pop act who was playing that night, the lead singer got a case of laryngitis and they couldn't do the show. And they phoned me up and they say, Alex, can you get to Berlin tonight with your band? I'm like, not a chance. No way. And they said, we want to give you, we'll pay you £11,000 to play a show if you can get there tonight. So quickly I said, okay, give me 5 minutes. I hung up. I phoned my whole band. I phoned my tour manager, everyone I owed money to, and I said, look, I can't pay you for this show. But if you do this show for me, we can be even. I paid off my debt to my musicians with 1 gig. Just before I left for yeshiva, I got an email from a guy called Keith. And it says, Alex, hi. I work for Microsoft. We really want to use a piece of your music for a commercial. We want to give you $75,000 for this piece of music to use it for this campaign. Is that okay? Absolutely. Sure. And I realized that essentially that's going to go to paying off my debt with my record label. Before I know it, that ad campaign was international. Every commercial TV station in the world was playing that commercial. And as a result, there were people all over the world downloading and buying my music, and radio stations all over the world were playing it. I'm in yeshiva, and I get a phone call from Universal Music in Germany. And they say to me, Alex, can you come to Frankfurt tomorrow morning? I was like, okay, can I ask why? And he said, well, you're going to be #1 here tomorrow in the charts. Here I am a yeshiva bacher in Yerushalayim, and I'm being told that the next day I'm going to be #1. So yeah, probably the only yeshiva bacher in history to have a #1 hit in Germany. So from there, I was in Germany, and I got a phone call from Radio 1 in the UK, the radio station that wouldn't move their Thursday night slot for me. They phoned me up to tell me that my music was now on the Radio 1 A-list, i.e. it was being played heavy rotation. Amazing. Being that I was selling millions of records all over the world, another bidding war started between record labels. I'm Shiva Bocher, and I'm getting offered, deals into the many hundreds of thousands of dollars. If my record label hadn't have dropped me, they would have had to give me a very small amount of money to make a new album. And the best part is that I was in a much stronger place to negotiate a new deal. Meaning not only could I get a much bigger deal, but I could get much better terms with regards to Shabbos observance and regards to what they would end up taking from a deal. Very good place to be. Today I live in Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh. The very fact that I had so much siyata d'shmaya in the music industry means that I can sit and spend most of my day learning Torah, which is a big, big privilege, and I'm very touched, and I can't believe that I have the schus to be able to do it. I still work, I still go on tour every now and then. We need to have parnasa, and we need to have hishtadlus. It's completely important, totally vital, but for us, the main thing is a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I said, Kiros Elokim Li Toiv, David HaMelech, when he says this, what does it mean? It means that everything else is a means to an end. For a Jew, the priority is Shabbos, it's kashrus, to understand the brachas, the benevolence, and the goodness that comes from learning Torah, and trying to build a meaningful relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's infinite.